Hey, welcome to Three Conservative. Let me do that again. Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make a good choice. At the ballot box, we talk about local, state, national, and international, stuff that's going on. We do cultural stuff. We'll talk about Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary. We'll talk about that a little later. But in the meantime, let's welcome all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, the always awake Lloyd Mendenhall.
Howdy, Art. Wow. Yeah. That music was like, it sort of sounded like church music. And whenever I'm sitting in church in the mornings, before
Oh,
church starts, they start playing that organ music. I'm going,
oh yeah.
yeah, that's what it was doing to me. Plus, I haven't had that much sleep today. So, because I've been up
Yeah.
all day. But
You and my dad. My dad, same thing. We go to church at it's either somebody's service, somebody getting married, or
yeah.
something that brought us to church. And I
Yeah.
look over and my dad's like, if I'm not poking him,
Oh,
mom.
Brian. Hey, Grant. And
Yeah.
who else on there? Jay Bird. Yeah. So,
Jay Bird's here.
yeah.
And I notice we have somebody new. Caroline is there.
Oh, okay.
She's first, but we'll talk about what she has to say a little later in the show.
Yeah.
Charles is going to be a little late today. He just got home with his mom out doing some shopping, and you know, he's having dinner right now, so he'll be in a little later. So, Charles, enjoy your dinner. See you in a
Yeah.
bit.
He'd been snowed in the first of the week, and they couldn't even get out. They had snow,
Wow.
and they couldn't get out of the house. So, or well,
Wow.
they could get out of the house, but they couldn't get out of the driveway. So, because
Right.
he had a big, I think he said they had a circle drive, and he says you know, so as soon as it got plowed, somebody could plow it. They were gonna try and get out and do their shopping because that's what he likes to do is they
Right.
go do shopping, But
Right. Hmm.
anyways, so
All right. One of the big news that just happened, what, yesterday or so? Maybe, yeah, I think it was yesterday, where DOGE found a whole bunch of waste, billions of dollars. And now they're
yes.
talking about cutting each one of us a $5,000 check.
Yeah, well, some of the things they found was they apparently Social Security, at least don't know
Yeah.
if they were receiving the checks, but yeah, there was like millions of dollars in Social Security. There was people they were paying Social Security to that 200 years old.
Yep. 200 years old. I don't know how many people I know that are 150. I mean, not very many.
I don't think there's anybody 150.
Uh, I think the oldest person just passed away at 116. So
116. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and so I guess from my understanding is that somebody had forgot to. There's a thing where you go in to the decedent's social security and you just hit the off switch, and somebody forgot to do that, and don't know if those checks were still going out. They may have.
But that's the
And
problem. They don't know whether I'm sure amongst all of that, there's bound to be some that were still going out,
right. Mm-hmm.
you know. And
Yep.
the thing is it's up to it's up to the person to call in and tell them. But yeah, that you got to think if somebody's on their rolls, and let's say they are 100, let's say there's nobody there, but obviously going to be 150. But that was, you know, the people that are working there now, that guy turned old enough for Social Security, which would have been, uh, let's see, you got 50 and 35, 85 years ago. I don't think there's anybody working there who could have shut them off.
No.
After even if they lived another 20 years, that'd been 65 years ago. There's
Right.
nobody working there that was there 65 years ago. So this has
Mhm.
been going on for a long time. And the
Right.
200 years, that was probably some of the first Social Security recipients. And surely they would have found it by then. You would
Mm-hmm.
have thought. I mean, somebody's not doing their job and they're not, uh, uh, doing their audits like they should.
Right. Right. And yeah, I sure could use a K check. That'd be really
That
nice
boy,
to
it helped me out a lot too.
have. Uh-huh. And from what I understand is that money, 80% of it is going to be rolled into paying the debt, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think also, putting out the 20% to everybody. But I would like to have it to where only go to people who pay taxes.
yeah.
So, and not
Well, yeah. I mean, most everybody pays taxes. Well, like
hmm
I don't because I'm retired. You know,
right.
so
hmm Yep.
but I have paid taxes in the past.
hmm
And I'm sure with that 200-year-old person, if there's any savings from that, I at least was around paying taxes back when that guy was alive. Well,
Right.
not when he was
Mhm.
alive, but after that. So I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. It'll probably take a
I
while
bet
before.
another idea would be to roll that money back into Social Security and start making it solvent again.
Yeah, that would be.
That
Yep.
would be in one way that would be a smart idea, and then they could look for else and put it back into the trust like it's supposed to be, and make sure they keep their
They can't touch it.
keep their greedy hands off of it. It's what they should do, because
hmm
it's Social Security money that people have paid into, and the young people that's been paying into it. And let's say these checks have been going out for
hmm
65 years.
Yep.
Uh, those people probably, last 65 years, a lot of people paid into Social Security, and it may not be there for these young people if they don't do something to make it more solvent. And that would be one way to do it,
hmm
because
Yep.
then they would get, when their time came and they ready to retire, they'd have some money there to, it may not be much, but it might add to their retirement,
hmm hmm
you
hmm
know, might be the difference of them being a Walmart greeter or being able to
Yeah,
go
that's true.
traveling during their later
hmm
years. But
Yeah,
just saying. I mean, yeah, I'd like to have.
that's right, Don.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, actually, what I'm thinking is what they should do is, yeah, they either put it into our national debt, or they
hmm
roll it back into Social Security and leave it solvent.
Right, right.
You know, and I'm
And
already drawn on that, Don.
mhm. Yeah, so if they keep finding more and more money, are they going to keep doing something like this where 80% goes to either the debt or to Social Security
Or
and
into
give,
something else. Yeah.
yeah, that, I mean, just think with that kind of money coming in the hands of people that'll stimulate the economy, people
Yeah.
buy stuff. Hopefully, they'll use that money to pay down whatever or pay off whatever credit card debt that they have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it,
Yeah. I personally, yeah, would I like to have $5,000? Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't if somebody just said, "Hey, here's $5,000?" But I also am of the belief that we need to clear out our debt so that our grandkids and great grandkids aren't having to pay for it the rest of their lives.
yeah,
And
that's
so, if they are able to retire and they have a nice retirement, they can have a little bit of extra because they've paid into FICA taxes, and that's part of what that is. It's what
mm-hmm,
it goes for, and they'd get a little return on it. You know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
we could just get the government to just leave that, put that the way aside the way it was meant to be. Things, that would be part of it right there. That would,
right,
you know,
mm-hmm,
so I don't, I'll believe the 5,000 when I see it. I don't think we'll see it.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yep, that's right.
you
Yep,
know,
I'm the same
I
way.
think it's just a bunch of, I think probably what it is they've been using such antiquated systems that, now they've got people in there that are, auditing this stuff, and now they're going to have to go through and nitpick it and find out. And I don't have my glass on, so I can't see the chat.
Says Grumpy Coin, the first mail-based blockchain.
Blockchain, working on it right now.
So yeah, that is some good news, and also just found out that we have an FBI director. Cash
Finally,
Patel is now the new director of the FBI, and
yep,
maybe we'll see some action going on. Stop
yeah. I hope
this
so. I hope they get.
lawfare and
Yeah, there we go. I was going to look and see if they had it. Pentagon faces major shakeups. Uh, well, I'm not seeing anything on that yet, but uh,
I'd be
I just,
curious to find out what the vote was.
yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to find out. I was just, uh, and right now it's not putting anything up there of whether he got approved or not. So,
Huh. Oh, well, look who's here all the way from the blue state of New York. It's Charles Gillespie. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
Charles.
And welcome to Winter Wonderland. I hear you
Yeah, no
got
kidding.
some stuff. So, what are your thoughts on this Doge check? $5,000 Doge check.
It would be nice. Um, I know I've seen discussions and people are saying it should be
5149.
put towards paying down the debt, but with you know 36 trillion dollars in debt, $54 billion is nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
I say let people have it back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Let's spend it. Yeah.
Well, it'll like, the only thing about that is when we get those kind of checks in, yeah, it does stimulate the economy for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a sudden drop because people have done spent all the money and nothing new coming in. And if we don't get the cost under control, the
Mm-hmm.
inflation under control, well then, it's going to be a short-lived stimulated economy. You know,
That's
of course,
good
he could
point.
always do like Biden did and claim that it was a great economy the whole time he was there. Not the
Mhm.
fact that, yeah, it was good because you sent out some stimulus checks. You know,
Mhm.
stimulus. Did I say that? Stimulus? Yeah, stimulus. And yes, cash has been confirmed. It was 51.49.
51.49. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So who
And
do you
McConnell
know?
voted yes.
Oh, he did.
Yep.
Oh,
Lisa McCarthy from Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine voted no. There's no surprise there.
yeah.
So, yeah. So he did get the nomination or
Good.
confirmation, I should say. So, and uh the Pentagon's in the middle of a, they're getting.
Yep.
116 in 54 days.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we was discussing that, but we'd actually talked about this whole thing yesterday on because Justin Stickley brought it up on Paul Murray's show yesterday evening, and yeah, you just shake your head at it. So,
Right. Hmm.
But yeah. Anyways, what I was going to say is uh, the Secretary of Defense Hesgrith, I can never say his name right. Anyway, Pete.
Headset.
Yeah, whatever, Pete.
Yeah.
Secretary Pete. Uh,
Yeah.
anyways, he
Yeah.
is going to fire top generals.
Oh.
He's threatened to fire some top generals. What he's doing is he's getting rid of all the Obama era generals that, because Obama fired all the generals that tried to stand up and speak the truth. Anytime they did, he'd find a way to get rid of them.
Right. Right.
You know,
Like
might have had a
Petraeus.
little bit of skeleton in the closet, and somehow or another he knew about it, and he
Mm,
used that against him. And
right.
some of them he just flat fired, and that's why for the last, that's why it was hard on Trump getting some stuff done. Although he did manage to bring himself in, but then Biden turned around and undid all that. So,
Hmm.
and that's why, and so he's getting rid of all those woke generals that
Yep.
they had,
Hmm.
like the guy from the army,
Hmm.
General Millie Vanilli, or whatever the hell his name
Yeah.
was, Millie Cyrus or something like that.
And generally, didn't
Just
he
General Millie,
bail
that's
out though?
right.
Didn't he quit?
Do what?
Didn't Millie quit?
Yeah, yeah, and they've they've taken away his his yeah,
Clearance.
clearance.
Security
Yeah,
clearance.
clearance. I was going to say classification is clearance, and
Yeah.
they're considering demoting. They were going to review and maybe demote him
Ooh.
because of some of the stuff that he did. And it was during the time that he was the joint head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for under Donald Trump,
Hmm.
and he did some things that violated, uh, you know, it was dereliction of duty or something, and
Uh-huh.
they're talking about taking one of his stars away.
Oh, wow. Well,
So, but yeah, he quit. He saw the handwriting on the wall. He retired.
right.
So.
Hmm. Well, in North Korea, those generals, they have to be woke because we saw what happened to that one general when he fell asleep.
Oh yeah,
Yep. He met firing squad with anti-aircraft uh, weapons. There you go.
yep.
Yeah. When
So
that went off, there was nothing but a pink mist. Yep.
what a way to go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd forgot about that.
Hmm.
But
So it makes you wonder about uh, what's going to happen when Kim Jong Un is gone. Is it
I don't know.
take over? I mean,
It may, once, it depends on if he has kids and if he's grooming one of them to take over, because he's like the third generation of them that's,
yep.
uh uh he's the grandson of the I can't remember what all their
Kim
names sounded
Il-sung.
like. Huh?
Kim Il-sung.
Kim Il-sung. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the original founder
Yeah,
of
the Kim family, yeah. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Pentagon shaker. Let's see.
So I've been watching this new program about the Korean War, which started last June when the war started. Now we're into 1951 in February, and the Chinese have pushed us out of Seoul, and now we're starting to push the Chinese back towards the 38th parallel, and
Yep.
yep,
38th or 39th?
38th
38th.
parallel.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking 39th.
I don't know why.
Because probably the Korean War was not one I really followed much,
Yeah, yeah, it's not. It's one of those wars. Not a whole lot to talk about.
Well, it
But
was between World War II, which was,
yeah,
from the greatest generation, and then the Vietnam War that went on for so many years. So
yep,
it kind of got overshadowed. If it wasn't for MASH, I think a lot of people wouldn't even realize we were in Korea.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Nowadays I don't think any of these young people know it because they don't teach history anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it talks a lot about I mean, it's only 5 years after the end of World War II,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I mean, at the beginning of the war, we were still using piston engine fighters and bombers.
oh yeah, yeah. We were still using
Yeah,
like the P-51s and the
P-51s and the F-4U Corsair.
right.
We used those, and then the first jets were the F-86s and F-84s, and
Yeah,
then finally the F-86 Super Sabre came in. That
yeah,
was
and then
the swept wing jets.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We
Yep.
had the F-100. I don't know if they used that in Korea or if that came after Korea.
No, that was World Vietnam.
Vietnam, okay.
Well, yeah, that'd be the Super Sabre.
Super Saver, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. They only had, I think, well, and on the Navy side, they had the first Phantom jet and the Panther were the first jet powered navies
yeah,
fighters, and we were still flying B-29s,
yeah,
bombing the bridges up in North Korea.
yeah,
And thing is, they said you could only bomb the Korean side of the bridge because they were worried that they started bombing into China that the war would
right,
escalate. It
right,
already escalated when
yeah,
the Chinese decided to help out the North Koreans because they saw how badly they were being mauled and they were almost defeated.
yep.
And
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 they
here's
probably wouldn't have stepped in if it hadn't been for MacArthur pushing up past uh the 38th parallel.
38 parallel.
I do that every time.
Yep.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Charles, don't
And
you start
MacArthur
yawning. I've been
wanted to
yawning the whole
use
show.
No, I'm not yawning. I'm hiccuping.
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and MacArthur wanted to use atomic weapons. Yeah. And
Yeah. MacArthur was It's
Yep.
a different sort of general. That's for
Yep.
sure.
And so here's where our intelligence failed us. Is because the Chinese, what they did the smart thing is they marched during the night. So we didn't have any reconnaissance
Right.
because we all thought, oh, it's just the North Koreans that are left, and they didn't realize that Chinese were coming into North Korea at night, and what
Yeah.
they during the day they would hide, and that's why when they did reconnaissance, you didn't see any
Yep.
mass troop movements because they were all hiding in the forest or in the mountains. So, and then when they did come, what they would do is they would do like hit and run. And it made it sound like there were overwhelming odds or amount of people when it
Right.
was just a small force going in, and they would overrun the place and then get the heck out of there. And
Yeah.
they thought it was like they were being overrun by a huge army,
Right.
when in fact they weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, that war was like I said, it's one that it's not really talked about. Even when I was going to school, we studied World War One, and then we were right into Vietnam. Korea was just mentioned as a side note.
Right.
You know, that little police action.
Yeah. Well, it was only 3 years where Vietnam was, well, actually more than 10 years, because
Yeah, but yeah, for the most
Vietnam War actually started right after
right after.
War II,
Yeah,
because the French didn't want to give up that colony.
yeah,
And so the Chinese were in North Vietnam, or the
right.
northern part of Vietnam, and the British and the French were in the south. And where we got involved was that Eisenhower sent in advisors in the late 50s.
Yep.
And then Kennedy escalated it by sending troops, and then Johnson sent a lot of troops.
Well,
Where,
yeah, it's kind of like after the Gulf of Tonkin was
yes.
really when we started. You know, uh,
Hmm.
that's when it escalated.
Hmm.
And some of that probably was I think there were some political maneuverings,
Hmm.
machinations going on there that created that situation because we should have never been in there.
Hmm. Right.
But
Yep.
oh,
Uh,
folks,
yeah,
I
you're getting real
apologize.
tired too.
I'm
Yeah.
here. I've been
I
drinking coffee, tea, and cocoa today, just trying to get wound up enough to stay awake for the rest of the day. I literally was. I'd completely forgot this was Thursday, and I was just about ready to head in there to go to bed when you called me, Art, and I wouldn't have been another 30 minutes. I probably would have been asleep. But,
Excuse me. And you didn't hear me try to call you on Facebook?
oh, okay. He said his father, Skyfly Network, said his father was in Korea.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we
Sky.
appreciate it. And that's the generation. I mean, you look at me and I look like one of them old farts, but that's the generation. When I look at the old guys now, that's what I see up at the VA hospital is the Korean War veterans.
Yep.
Because there's not, there's just not very many World War II vets around.
No, there aren't.
You know?
And there was one fighter ace that was in all three wars.
Okay.
He was an ace in World War II,
Right.
ace in Korea, and an ace in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And
Trying to think who that was.
that would be General Olds.
Okay. All right.
Robin E. Olds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you say Lloyd needs a soda. Yeah, that's right.
I need
Have,
what?
have a Coke or a Pepsi.
Yeah, I can go in there and get me Dr. Pepper, I guess.
There you go. So anybody watch Saturday Night Live Sunday?
No, I did not, and I don't think I missed a thing.
I heard about it, but
That's me. I've just heard about it.
There was one controversial thing where Tom Hanks was on
I saw that skit.
Black Jeopardy
Yeah.
with the MAGA hat, and
Right.
host tried to,
And he didn't want to shake hands with the guy, you know,
yeah, and it's
'cause he
like,
just that was just, you know, even,
pathetic.
not everybody who voted for Donald Trump was a MAGA person, but a good percentage of them were, and he just insulted about half the United States, and
right. Mhm.
personally, I wish him and his wife would just pack up and, leave the country.
Right. Mhm.
Just get the hell out, because
Mhm.
I have no use for people like that.
Yeah, so it just reminded me about the story of the scorpion and the, what is it, tiger, or where they tried to get across a flooded,
Yeah, or
and
Scorpion and the Turtle, I think. I can't remember.
well, it can't be a turtle because scorpion can't sting the turtle.
I could on the head, so it wasn't a turtle. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it's a duck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the story goes where the scorpion promised not to do
Not
it,
to sting him.
and
Yeah.
halfway across he stung him, and well, the host said, "Oh, great! Now we're both going to drown." He goes, "I can't help it. I'm
I
a
am a
scorpion."
Yeah. I remember and I was thinking of that because I just heard that on The Equalizer. Uh, he's talking about, he says, scorpions, Denzel Washington, he says, well, the scorpion's got to be the scorpion, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know.
that's frog. That's right.
What?
The
Yeah.
frog.
Oh, the frog. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it had to be the frog because the water was knee deep.
And you wonder why you're
Yep.
not working as
Yep.
a
Be
comedian
careful, or it
anymore.
will rivet your mouth shut.
Yeah, rivet your mouth shut. Yeah. Good one, Charles.
But there were quite a few alum that didn't show up, like Dana Carvey, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi. Oh, wait a minute, he's dead. Okay.
Jim Belushi,
Jim Belushi, yeah.
was he there?
I don't know. I don't think he was part of Saturday Night Live.
Well, he was on there part of the time. He was like the next set that came in after, like, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
He was in that second. He wasn't one of the original alumni, but
No.
he was part of that
Mhm.
that group. But him and that Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi are business partners, don't you?
Yeah, and it was part of the Blues Brothers. That was their.
Blues Brothers marijuana.
Ah, okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, Jim
I didn't know
Belushi
that.
has a pot farm out in California, and they've
Oh,
got a special blend. It's the Blues Brothers blend of marijuana.
oh,
And see, because he doesn't have the right to use it, he had to get permission because Dan Aykroyd owns the rights to the Blues Brothers
oh, okay.
and to the name. So
Okay,
he
cool.
had to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what the name of the show is called. It's something with Belushi or something like that, and it's all about the trials and troubles of him trying to get his marijuana farm. they got it growing and they're doing good. And then they had a major fire, and then they brought in some seeds, and they didn't regulate the greenhouses right, or it was too susceptible to the cold or something.
Uh-huh.
So they had to end up building a whole slew of extra greenhouses for this special blend, which is going to be it was at that point he thought that Dan Aykroyd wasn't going to let him use the Blues Brothers brand name,
Ah,
but
I
he
see.
did.
Okay.
But yeah, I had no idea that
Uh-huh.
that's what they're into.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Let's see. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I know that was kind of a downer for the whole
yeah.
show. It's like my thought is, why would you want to do something like that? I mean, was it to appease the Trump haters? I don't know. It just seemed unnecessary. All they had to do is just do like a reminiscence of the first group that went through.
Yeah, they could have done some of the old skits, and that they had done in that first. God, I can't believe it's 50 years old.
I know.
But,
Shit. I didn't start watching until late 70s, early 80s.
so
I
what's this?
started watching
Yeah,
because
I think I started watching it. Yeah, I was in the military by then, so
I was watching it with oh God, who's the black comic? He's the voice of the donkey.
oh,
The
Beverly Hills Cops.
Yeah.
Axel Foley.
Yeah, that guy.
Watkins, I think I can see his face. I can
I
hear his
can
voice.
too. I can even hear his voice.
I'm going. Yeah, that's when I started watching Joe Piscopo and
Yeah,
John Lovett and Rob Schneider.
yeah.
And you know what's funny is I met Rob.
No, not
here in
Chris Rock.
Colorado. Not Chris Rock.
No.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
That's right.
Thank you.
Eddie Murphy. I met Rob Schneider at the Comedy Corner in Colorado Springs, and it was it was right when I first started out, and it was my first comedy competition, and I made it to the finals, and I was in the top 3, and
Okay.
Rob was the headliner of the show, and he was funny as shit. And then right after that, he's on Saturday Night Live. I'm like, hey, I've worked with that guy. Cool. He's half Filipino.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
His mom's a Filipina.
Okay.
Yep. Grew up in San Francisco. Mm-hmm.
Grew up with rice-a-roni then, huh? Because that's, according to the commercials, that's the only thing they have over there is rice-a-roni.
Oh, in the Philippines?
No.
Rice?
No, in San Francisco.
Oh, yes.
Rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Yep. I know. I'm tired too.
Yeah, boy, this is sorry guys. Art called me. I truly was. Well, some of you guys saw me on Paul Murray's show. I truly was getting ready to go to, and I figured, why in the hell is Art calling me? When I thought something bad was happening. He says, we're doing a show tonight. Actually, I can't say it's all my fault because you said on Monday you didn't know if we were going to do a show tonight.
That's right. I wasn't.
So I'd kind of put it out of my mind, thinking that we probably weren't going to do one, and for whatever reasons the messages didn't come up. on my.
I was still waiting on the apartment that
Yeah.
they're putting a new window in, and I guess with this cold weather, they probably didn't do it. And I just got a text from Jay today saying he hasn't heard from the maintenance guys, but you'll let me know once it's done. I go, okay. Good.
Yeah, I
So,
was, Andrew. I was sitting there just doing everything I could to keep from dozing off there on Paul's show. Yeah.
Sorry.
How cold has it been up there in
How
Colorado?
cold?
Yeah.
We've been close to 0 at night.
Yeah, well, we were down to 2 degrees last night with a wind chill of -8 or
Wow.
10. Yeah.
We were in the 20s today, and I believe it's snowing right now.
Yeah, well, we got about 2 inches of snow, and of course we started out with a little bit of rain, so and then it started getting colder and we started getting the snow. We got my cousin had texted me, well, it was Monday, and he texted me and said, "You getting any snow?" And I'm like, "No, not really." And I went and looked out there, and oh hell, yeah, we did. We got about before it was all over, we ended up with about 2 inches. It covered all the grass, and my street's still covered, and so I just hadn't got out of the house because.
Well, congratulations, Ronnie.
All right, good go, Ronnie. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that one of these
All
days.
right, Ronnie.
You keep it up too, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hopefully we're supposed to have a warm up later this weekend, early next week, where we'll be back in the 60s. So maybe
Yeah, we're gonna be.
the spring weather will finally come in. Oh, and I saw a robin this week. Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ain't seen any around here lately. Guess, but yeah, we've set some records. We're like, I think they said we're like 30 degrees below normal.
Wow.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's supposed to be getting warm this weekend, and
Well, they say we're expecting 3 to 7 inches of snow tonight. Yeah.
yeah, well, that probably hit us about Tuesday or Wednesday then.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it gets it out of its system, so that it doesn't hit here. Because yeah, we're supposed to be in the 60s all the way through the. Tomorrow's high is only going to be 33. They've raised it because it was only 30. So, but we're going to be in the upper 40s on over the weekend, and then hitting in the mid 60s by Wednesday, I think.
Wow.
Mm. Ronnie just said that Fairbanks. Why isn't there we go. Anyway, it said wind chill of -62. Wow.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. When I was a kid and we were in high school and we was walking up to the corner bus stop, or sometimes mom would kind of go around, pick us all up, and then drop us off there because we could go into the store there and wait on the bus. But
Mm-hmm.
we stood out there waiting, and it was -10 a lot of times over there in Grand Junction, but
Oh, yeah.
we didn't know anything about wind chill factors. That didn't seem that wasn't part of, if it felt like 100, if it felt like 10 below, it usually was 10 below.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess people got old and they said, well, I don't feel like the same it was when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So they had to come up with a new reason why it was so damn cold and the thermometers were wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now it's hot flashes, lady.
Yeah. So what else is going on in the political sphere?
That's what I was trying to find out, and like I said, the
Cash Patel looks like he's the last one to be confirmed, and Oh, how about Mitch McConnell? How old is he? Is he 90? I think he's 90.
Is he 90? I didn't think he was that old yet.
Yeah.
But he's not going to run for re-election, so.
Yeah.
But and apparently Elon Musk was at the CPAC and comes out there with a chainsaw waving it around because he's cutting the budget, you know.
Good.
Yeah. He's walking off stage. That guy's a nutcase. He's entertaining if nothing else. See, since 1985, it's 39 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I mean, look at AOC now. She's a millionaire and yet, she could barely, she couldn't pay back her student loans or anything because 3 people want McConnell's seat.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just not running for re-election, which is this next year, so
Yeah.
that's a seat that the Republicans going to have to hold, you know.
That's right.
But it's, he's not been effective for quite a while, especially as, as the Republican either the Republican leader, whatever is with the majority or minority leader. He hasn't been effective. He's been having a lot of those freeze ups, those are, they can say what they want, but those are they're very similar to what I would call a petit mal seizure.
Oh, okay.
Which happens with epilepsy. And who knows, he may have epilepsy and nobody knows it, but
right.
he did fall, and he also had, I don't know if he had a stroke or not, but I know he had a couple bad falls where he hit his head, and that sort of those petit mal seizures kind of run with that sometimes. So, and he's not aware that he's not even aware that he's freezing up. That's why they have to walk him. The problem is when they last very long, it gets the longer they last, the more dangerous it becomes. So,
right.
But that's thing about the petit mal was, they're just, that's what you do. You just freeze. It's not like the full blown grand mal seizures that people that you associate with epilepsy. But
right.
Having had seizures myself and my cousin's wife having epilepsy, our family's kind of familiar with seizures, so
right.
And but yeah, so it's time for him to retire.
Yep.
Probably should have retired 6 years ago. Because he wasn't even very good then, For about the last 12 years, he just hasn't been real effective.
And so one of the things that they're talking about is investigating how some of these, like, for example, a congressman makes $175,000 a year. How do you become a friggin' millionaire when you, over a span of what, 10 years?
Yeah, and that was what I was bringing up about AOC is that because she's one of those in that, or she was a barmaid, or I mean a bartender,
right?
And and then she's from that amount of time for what, like 8 years now or 10 years. She's been up. God, seems like it's been forever, but it hadn't been that long. But now she's a millionaire,
Yeah.
Well,
look at Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but she did it forever though. That's the difference with Pelosi.
Well, that's because her husband, he's the stock trader, and what she does is they'll vote on some, the project, and if it goes through, she goes, "Hey, Paul, buy this stock. Yeah, we just voted on this, and
Yeah. Or we've
don't
got a vote and we got the numbers to pass it. So you might want to look into this stock. Yeah.
buy it,
Yeah.
or sell it if they're not going."
2019. Okay. He said 2019. Maybe it's because it seems like 10 years, but still 5 years to become a millionaire. And she's only drawn, like you said, $170,000 a year,
Yeah,
thereabouts.
and I
Yeah.
think a senator is 200,000.
Yeah. And to me, that's for a starting congressperson to receive $174,000 a year. I'm sorry. Uh, when you start out as as even working for a big corporation, you start out in the mailroom, guaranteed you're not getting
Yeah,
$174,000 as
that's
a
right.
starting out slot. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Well, the reason I bring that up is our illustrious governor here in Colorado, before he was governor, he was a congressman. And when he first got into Congress, he was worth $30 million.
right.
When he left Congress, he was worth over $300 million.
Yeah.
And how he made that money was, a lot of the bills that he voted on was insurance. And every time they voted for or against some insurance bill, he
Bill.
would
Yeah.
go and buy stock or sell stock in that company that they just bid on.
Yeah.
And he inherited that money. He inherited his mom or his parents. It was an e-greeting card company that
Okay.
just prior to the .com bubble bursting, and he
Right.
sold it. And I think he got like $5 million out of it. So he decided, hey, I got all this money. I'll buy a political seat. I
Yeah.
think I'll buy a seat on the Colorado School Board. He got that. He, did a couple terms of that, and then he decided, you know what? I think I'm going to run for Congress.
Yeah.
So, whose
Yeah.
seat did he run for? He ran in CD2, probably the safest seat besides CD1, which is Denver. So he ran for that seat until he decided, hey, I'm going to be governor, because you know what his ultimate goal is? He wants to be president. And I don't, count him out in 28. You'll see his little
Oh, I have
mug.
no doubt. Yeah. I have no doubt because I've been hearing his name in other circles too. So,
Mhm.
not just in
Yep.
this group. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I see that happening. Uh, but,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll see
it's,
the Polis Walls ticket.
oh, yeah.
Or how about the Polis Buttigieg? Uh,
Oh, there's a winning ticket right there if I
oh,
ever heard
there
one.
you go. Hi, hi. I'm Jared. I'm Pete. Hi.
Yeah, I think we'd all have to be after, we'd all
And
have to be high with those two for
then
God help
when
us.
we're on vacation, we like to go to Uranus, where we get packed fudge there. Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Hi, Ken Heron. Anyway.
yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, we pretty much know who's going to be on the Republican ticket. It's going to be J.D. Vance. I think
Yeah,
he's got a very good shot at winning the nomination.
he does.
And
Yeah.
if he wins the nomination, I'm like trying to figure out who's going to be his running mate. I mean,
That's the question. That's the $1 million question right there. Who's he going to have for running mate? Because it's going to have to be somebody that's as strong in a vice presidential spot as he has been,
Mm-hmm.
But yet can work with him. So yeah, it's I think he would be a great. Oh,
Yeah.
I apologize, guys. I am so
Mm-hmm.
tired. And Charles,
Yeah.
as soon as this show's over, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Well, same
Okie
here.
dokie.
Well, how about Pam Bondi?
Pam Bondi would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard would be
Oh,
another
yep.
one.
Yep.
Actually,
Yeah.
any of the women in Trump's
Cabinet, yeah.
sphere, well, cabinet or sphere,
Sphere, yeah.
I mean, Christy Noem.
Christy
I mean,
Noem,
I'd even vote for. I'd even vote for a Vance Levitt, Caroline Levitt ticket.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's pretty
She's
young.
just
She's
really
only,
impressive. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't they have to be 40? Well,
that's for president.
no, but don't they have to be 40 for vice president? Because
You know what? I think for
they would
Congress, you gotta be 25 years old.
huh?
25 years old to be in Congress.
That's true, but to be president, you have to be 40. And the vice
40,
president, the vice president has to be able to replace the president at any time. And if they're not 40, they can't do it.
Interesting question.
So the vice president has to be 40. Because I mean, we've had presidents die within a month of them being in office. So
that's that's true.
So they have to be 40 to be president or vice president.
Oh God!
I know. I'm so sorry, guys.
Boy.
I really I got up at I was up at 4:30 this morning and stayed up almost all day except for about an hour nap. And Gillespie and Grumpy ticket. That'd be an interesting one. Yeah.
Hey, what about the Art and Grumpy? Weren't we were supposed to be running last time around, then
I think I did a half-assed job of it. So yeah, we came up a little short.
Hey.
Yeah, it was there, so I had to, somebody had to say it.
Lloyd, I think I have to correct you. You only have to be 35 to be president and a citizen of the U.S. for 14 years.
Okay, all right. You may be right. Maybe it is 35. I don't know where I got 40.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, but 35. Okay, that's doable.
Yeah, that's Brian concurs.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And awake.
Be 35 for president. Thank you, Brian and Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Which would mean they would technically they would have to be because once they're sworn in, at least they have to be 35 by inauguration day, because God forbid they get assassinated on inauguration day. Well, then the VP has to be there to pick it up, and if he's not old enough or she's not old enough, well, then it goes to the Speaker of the House. Yeah,
that's right. Speaker of the House. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Caroline is just barely too young. She's only 27.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she might be just fall a little short, but yeah. Got to be a Republican to take him down. Yeah. Well, if none of them run, none of the names we've just mentioned decide to run, Charles, you and I would have a chance to beat just about anybody the Democrats are putting up there right now.
Yeah,
one would hope. Yeah.
Well, we would think. Yeah.
Yep. And we're the DEI candidates. Yeah.
Yeah, you can be our DEI ambassador.
There you go. Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Thanks for watching. And we had a
Watching
good
us
crowd
yawn.
tonight. We're over 10 here. You all have a great weekend. Don't forget my show tomorrow night. Don't know what we're going to be talking about. I don't know. Maybe we'll make chocolate. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's already done that. So have
Yeah.
a great evening. Good night and God bless.
Good night.